Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today, as you may be able to see from my craft table, with another Christmas card recycling video. I have just taken the time to look through my Christmas card stash. I didn't realise how many I actually had ordered, so I just tried to put them in a few piles and tell you my ideas about these piles. First of all, I found a stash where I had already cut mostly with my circle dies into loads of Christmas cards, and I created toppers like these, or this one seemed to be like a patterned one, so I cut loads of different size circles. So these are all ready to go onto cards. So I'll have a think about what to do with these other than the bauble cards I have already created in my last two videos. I think I'd show you these first. I found 4 cards. If I say cards, these already have the back taken off. I just kept these. These are all cards I decided not to use anymore, and they will go in the recycling. These are all just sentiments. This one didn't really inspire me. Again, it's just a sentiment. This one is mainly a sentiment. It would be too busy to cut anything out from this and too big. Then I've got the 3 wise men, and I quite like this card. It's got a lot of metallics to it, and I might have kept it originally for some inspiration because I like the different patterned paper here really, but there's not much I could do with this rather than cutting them out and matting it or something else, so they will go in the recycling. And then this is one of those plain cards you get in a set, unless I cut the robin out, but he's already got his tail missing. Again, this doesn't do much for me, so that will go in the recycling. I just thought I'd show you these as well, because you might have something like this in your stash and wonder what to do with it. So it doesn't hurt to let these things go, and I'll put them in my recycling now. There we go. So then I've got a pile here, and these are cards where I think I could cut something out and use it as a topper. Some of these toppers would be really big, but I've got this front door here. I really like it. The other ideas with this one may be just bling it up, because it's got loads of little elements, so I don't know about this yet. But cards like these here, it's a robin, I could just cut things out. This already has got a topper on it that I could just peel off. It's got the same underneath again. I might be able to use it twice. Same with this one here. This would work as a topper. This one is like a gift card. So just having a look. Oh, I know what that is. Yeah. So I thought they could cut this one out as a topper. But again, if I don't use them this year, I think I'll let them go. Same with this one here. The robin would be nice. Stocking there. Just flicking through these to show you, because you might have something similar here. With this one I wondered, because it's very sort of specific, but I think if I just use the angel as such, because obviously the wings are cut off, I think that could be nice, and I could recreate something like that if I wanted to, but I don't know yet. Same with the dog. Obviously it's quite big already, but I could cut this out and put it on a different card, maybe even with a sort of mechanism. I'll have a think about that. So these are just, as I said, things I thought would work nicely. Again here, the door might make a nice feature, the post box here. Although this is, again, it's a rather big piece. Same again with the angel here. But I like the subtle background, so I thought if I can create something similar for this to sit on, that could be really nice. I like quite the post box here. I would have to tidy or clean up the metallic cardstock a little bit, but that could be nicely be reused. And then I've got the car here. This one here, I'm on the fence about. I like the Z fold card here, but I don't think I would cut these out and put them on a different card, because I wouldn't really be creating anything new. So unless I use the partridge and the pear tree in a card, I don't know, I might let go of this. So the next pile, these are cards that I thought have got the image on a whole page, and so I can't really cut anything from them, but I could maybe put something on top. Although with these two, again, there's the 12 Days of Christmas, they're very similar. There is not much I can do with these, so I'm not quite sure or whether I want to just stick them on a different card and maybe bling them up. I don't know yet. It's a bit similar to these because there's so many little images. With these here, all of these cards here, I found they sort of create a pattern. Again, this one I could cut the individual trees out, but I thought these all have got a bit of like a pattern all over the cards, so I can use them for that. This one obviously got the star in the middle, same one with this, but I've got an idea how to use these. And these here, but I'll put them all with the others, they all have this sort of wreath look. So lots of foliage on the round and something in the middle. So I could choose different toppers to go in the middle. Or I've got an idea again for these, so I might use them. And this one is almost that way, but it's got a bit of a different shape. But I quite like the bunny there in the middle. It's got this foiling on it. So this is why I put these together. And these here are all cards that have got a large image. Yes, with this one here, I could do what I did with the last card and cut little circles out in the baubles, but mainly these cards have got one big image and it's quite difficult to cut from these. This one here I could do, just cut out the bird, but this one would look, I think, you know, the theme would be lost if I cut just one out here or rather just this one here. So that's why I put these all together. And I've got an idea for these cards here as well. So they mostly are scenery cards, or some here that are already very full, very busy. So it would be tricky to cut elements out of here. I could do it, but I thought I'd keep these as a whole. This one's the smallest house in Wales, maybe even Great Britain, that's in Conway. So I kept these together here to find something to do with these. Then again, here I've got a topper. I could maybe peel that off, but I'll have a think. If I find that by the end of me creating my Christmas cards, which might be at the end of this month, I don't know, I might get sick and tired of it. If I find I haven't used these, I think I might actually put these in the recycling too, because I don't want to have too many. This one, I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I just quite like the colours, so I'm keeping that as well intact at the moment. So I think for today, for this video, I will use these here. So the ones that have got like a wreath around them, and the 2 star cards, and definitely the tree. Not sure about this one, whether that will work the same way. I'll keep this aside. So I will show you a technique what to do with these. So I'm just clearing up my table, make some space, and then I'll be back in a sec. So what I have done with all these cards is I have looked through my nesting dies and had a look if I have got a die that would cut out the center of these cards. So for these 2 stars, I have got a star nesting die each. This one fits perfectly. This one here has got a slightly different shape, but I don't think it matters. Sorry about the reflection there, so I think that'll be fine. Then I've got a few circle dies, very straightforward, because I said they all have got this sort of wreath look. So that is a circle die here, there's a circle die there. Just look a bit, oh no, that's the look of the card there. It's got, look, I thought it was just a bit of dirt on there. So I've got a circle die here, although I just contemplated whether I would actually want an oval. I'll have a look at that in a moment when I switch the camera off. Then I've chosen an oval die here. This is a scalloped oval. I quite like the sentiment rather than cutting the whole round bit out, just to have the sentiment here. Then I've got this little German card here, so just really just a die cut that cuts out this circle plus a little bit more, but it's got a stitched element, so I think that will look quite nice. And for this card here, again, because of the shape of this, I've chosen an oval. Just have to be mindful where I set this. I will cut the bunny off a little bit here, but I think it doesn't matter. I could cut it out like this, but I think that would look awkward unless I change the look of the card. So I think I will just have a straight oval there. With this one here, this card here, if I had a triangular die, I do have actually a Christmas tree die, but I don't know whether that is the shape. I would use that, but I think I set this aside and use for a different project. I really like this and don't want to ruin it, and I think it would look awkward if I had an oval or a circular die. So I will cut all these very straightforward, put them through my die cutting machine. Where I have got a surface like this, I'm going to put a piece of paper on the top so that the smooth surface, you know, the shiny surface, doesn't pick up any blemishes from my die cutting plate. I think that's important. I'm not fussed about any problems underneath. So I will do this now off camera, and then I come back and show you what we do with it. Oh no, one more thing I will do off camera as well is find some matching cardstock for all of these cards. So I want to mat all these, so I will have a look, like for this one for example, it's got this sort of orange and the dark green, and I'll have a look in my stash if I have got plain cardstock with a matching colour. So I will pick a colour for each of these cards. For example, I could pick a metallic card as well. Same here, that's got the gold here, so I could easily see this being matted with gold. And then I will measure these and see what card base I want to create, how much I need to cut off, and to what size I have to cut the mat. So I have die cut all my centres here from all the cards. I have kept the dies with the cards because I'm making so many. I don't want to forget which die I used for which card because I need the die again. Show you in a moment why. And I've also used a background cardstock. These are all metallics, glitter or glitter cardstock, because I thought I might just as well go bling all over. I'll show you later when I finished all the cards which ones I have chosen. But I'm a bit tight sometimes when it comes to glitter cardstock, and I think I can reuse these papers, because rather than cutting the whole mat here and wasting all this space behind there, I can cut the mat and then cut a big piece out of the white cardstock that will be covered by this anyway, so I can't, nobody will notice, and I actually have got this piece then to use for something else, maybe to mat some smaller die cuts, so I'm definitely not wasting this, and that's what I want to do with all the other pieces as well. And the other thing I will do for every single card, and this is why I kept the die, obviously my idea, I tell you now what my idea is to raise these centre bits on all of the cards. I could just use some foam squares, that would be okay, but again I don't want to waste any of my squares because I would need quite a few for all these cards. If you have got tons, use them by all means. But I decided to cut my pieces here for the back from my kids' craft foam. I've got tons of those, and I will use again some matching colours. So with this one, probably a white one with this one actually. I don't think I've got a dark green, but where I've got a matching colour, I've got a grey, I've got reds, I will cut it from them, from that colour, those colours, because I will be able to see it from the side. So I will cut these, as I said, with all these dies, and I will then cut my card bases to size, because some of them I've cut with a bit of the back. So as I said, and then we'll mat these and then decide on the card bases. Again, I will do this all off camera. A little tip for die cutting from craft foam: always pre-cut your foam like this, because you can only put it through the die cutting machine once, and if you put the whole sheet through, then you won't be able to use that part for anything else really. Another little tip: for my star, my sheet is not big enough, but I can easily put a piece here on the side and just stick it down with some tape, so when I die cut it, these pieces fit together and I can easily hide this bit underneath the actual die cut. Another little tip: if you have a corner of a card that is slightly damaged, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, this one actually shows the white a little bit, you can just use an alcohol marker close to the colour you've got there. So I'm trying to show you that, and then just colour it in and it won't show as much. Obviously you could cut it down if you are not worried about losing the width, but in this case I wanted to keep it. Sometimes I have an idea and it's absolute nonsense. I said earlier I would cut these panels here out to save some cardstock. That is fine if I've got a full closed panel on the front, but because I want to raise this bit, if I take this out, there's nothing raised anymore at all, so that obviously doesn't work. So forget about that. I will place this inside. Luckily I noticed that with the first card, so I will just stick this down on the card base and then we'll place the panel on top, and then this one will actually be raised. So I've cut all my cards to size. I found some of them were an odd size. I try to keep it to British sizes. What I do, by the way, when I cut these pieces, you can see from all these scraps, I go round and then cut off a little bit more until I've got the size that makes sense. But I've got two sizes. I don't know whether they are American sizes or European ones. They are not my usual British sizes, but it doesn't matter. As long as I've got an envelope that they fit into and I don't have to make my own. I don't really like making my envelopes. So all I need to do now is I'm going to stick the foam on all these topper pieces. I thought about whether some of these I would like to add some more embellishments, like my idea was maybe put some coloured thread around these, but I think they're all fairly busy. The only ones I could imagine that I embellish a bit more are like this one here with a star, or this one here, although there is enough glitter. This one could maybe do with just a spot of foliage, but I think the others are nice as there are, so I don't think I will add anything. So as I said, I will stick these on now, and I will show you in a second. Yeah, I think I will glue all these on the mats, and then I'll show you in my next step how I create the card bases. I've got a bit of a, because they're all different sizes, I'm cheating a little bit. Well, it's my way of making things easier. You might find that a bit wasteful as far as use of cardstock is concerned, but I find this so much easier. There are two things I would like to show you. First of all, I've been using my Cosmic Shimmer glue for all the pieces to glue them on. What I keep forgetting about this is if I have very thin cardstock, this actually shows. I don't know how well the camera picks it up. It's getting a bit better as it dries, but I think you can see it here. I can see where I applied the glue, and I'm quite messy on the back as well. So this is probably not the best glue to use. The other thing I wanted to show you, oh, one more thing as well, three things. When I'm drying the pieces, especially the ones with the foam, I've just popped them underneath a tile and put a bit of pressure on them. This I find helps as well, but you can use an acrylic block or anything like that. And for this card, because it was so plain, I decided to put some ribbon on this. So I have just put some red tape here at the top and the bottom and put the ribbon round, but not too tight, because I want to put the ribbon, or push the ribbon underneath when I put the circle die on, so that it looks like it's going underneath that circle die cut. So just wanted to show you this before I glue it down on the mat. just wanted to show this again. So the glue here looks really awful. So I hope this dries, but until it does, I will not stick this on a card base. I might have to let go of these, which is a pity. I kept forgetting about the Cosmic Shimmer glue. So maybe test your glue beforehand. It's the same here. I've got big bubbles, so I'm setting these aside for now. But you've seen the technique anyway. So for my card base, I have got A4 sheets here of a 300 GSM cardstock. And all I'm doing is I'm going to score these at 5 7/8, which is half of that A4 sheet. Just scoring it twice because it's heavyweight cardstock. Then I'm folding it and burnishing it in the middle. Let me just pop this aside. So that I've got basically an A5 card base. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to take my card base, make sure you've got it the right way around. This one, for example, is the wrong way around. And I'm gluing this now. I can decide whether I want a bit of a white edge showing or whether I want it in the corner. Again, it decides on the size you want. I can't remember whether I left a little bit of the edge. I have to measure that in a moment. So I'm going to stick this down here, and then in my guillotine I'm going to cut the overhang off with or without a little frame around this. And I'm going to do this with all of my cards. I know I've got a bit of waste here, but I can use these for sentiment strips, or sometimes I just use them to make a little swatch of pens I'm using. I find that easier than pre-cutting these and then trying to place these in the middle, especially if I've got awkward cards now like this here. It'd be so much easier for me to glue this down and then cut it. I've got obviously a bigger piece here. If you have got a lot of the smaller sized cards like the 6x4, or rather than the 5 7/8 by 4, then this would be a waste. Then I would cut it in half and do it like this, or yeah, cut it in half the other way if you don't want a top folding card. But for these bigger ones, especially for the awkward sizes here, I find this method the easiest. And I'm gluing these down first because then I can put pressure on them, and then I'm just placing the toppers on the top. Where is this one here? So I would just glue this down here and have that as a raised element. And I'm then deciding if I want some embellishments. I could imagine if I had some red rhinestones, they would look lovely on here, but I think most of these cards don't need many more embellishments. So I finished these 4 cards, and I've got another 4 that I could finish in the morning if hopefully the glue has dried less lumpy. If not, as I said, I'll pop these in the bin. It is what it is. I should have thought about which glue to use beforehand, but I'd rather not give a messy card away, and nobody will know about this, and I'll have got many cards anyway. So these are finished now. I have put them on the card bases, and yeah, I left a small rim around all of these, and I think, yeah, I think they're really nice and have been upgraded from what it was before in a very sort of subtle way. It's a bit like an eclipse card, but yeah, I think this is special. I have thought about, and this is what I've got here, whether I should add some red stickers on all of the berries, but I wanted to finish this video now and edit it so it can go on my channel tomorrow morning. So, but I think I will do this after I've filmed and after I've edited the video, because that would be nice. I've also got here some glossy accents. I thought about putting this on all the berries here. I think that could be another nice feature on this one, but I quite like how subtle it is with just the ribbon there. So I think that's really nice. And then this one, again, I thought, do I put some stickers on the berries? But there's so many berries there. I might just add a few lighter stickers here on the side here, but I think that's quite cute as well with the oval die cut there. So yeah, this is another idea for you what you can do with your Christmas cards, how you can recycle them. So a really easy way of basically mass producing them with these sort of motifs. As I said, I think this works best for the motifs that have got like a sentiment or one image in the middle, and yeah, and especially the ones that have got sort of wreath and a foliage on the outside. So yeah, and if you'd like these cards, you might want to give me a thumbs up. I'd be very happy about that. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, as you could see from my cards earlier, there is more card recycling coming up. You might want to subscribe to my channel. That would be really great. And I'll see you soon with another video.